USA visit since 2003 when they knocked the USA out of that World Cup in the semifinals. Three-time World Player of the Year, Prinz is Germany's top scorer. She'll face the USA's top goal scorers, Kristine, Lilly, and Abby Wambach in an international friendly from Cleveland Browns Stadium. It's the top two teams in a women's game, and it's coming up next. Well, here in Cleveland, there's no doubt about it. According to the FIFA rankings, you have the top two teams in the world going at it. The USA is ranked #1. Germany is ranked #2, and they meet in this country for the first time since 2003. We welcome you, everyone, to Cleveland Browns Stadium, along with Julie Foudy, who played in many of these games against Germany. I'm JP Dellacamera. Julie, what a great test this is, not just for the U.S., but also for Germany today.
Well, as you said, the best two teams in the world. You don't get friendly matches like this very often. And such a storied history between the two teams. It seems like the U.S. is always coming across Germany in either a quarterfinal or final. Here in the 1991 World Cup, the first ever, the famous semifinal game where Karen Jennings-Gebauer gets 3 goals. Fast forward a little bit, and you got the 1999 FIFA World Cup, the quarterfinal. We score an own goal for the United States, come back to win it. And then, of course, I like to forget about this one altogether, JP, so we're not even going there because it brings up cold sweat. So let's go fast forward to 2004 when we squeak out a win and go on to win the gold medal. But Germany is always there every step of the way.
It's amazing how she forgot conveniently about 2003. But anyway, that's all in the past. Let's talk about the present with this game today.
Well, and it comes as no surprise that you have the top 3 active goal scorers in the world on the field today in Kristine, Lilly, Prinz, and Abby Wambach. And Abby Wambach, actually, with her goal in their last international against Mexico, tied Michelle Akers, the legendary Michelle Akers, at 105 career goals. And it's been done at an unprecedented rate. And she did it most impressively in what we like to call the Snow Bowl out in Sandy, Utah on March 31st. That was her 105th, and she did it 16 games faster than Michelle Akers.
Well, she still has scored a ton of goals, but she has a long way to go to catch with the retired Mia Hamm, who has 158. Well, Germany's top all-time goal scorer is also here. That's Prinz, as we take a look at who is primed to perform. Fueled by Gatorade, you played many times against Birgit. What was it like playing against her?
It was very similar to Abby Wambach. Great physical presence on the field and a great nose in front of goal. Just very instinctive. So you can see she's at a fierce pace to catch Kristine Lilly with 126 international goals.
You have the top 2 teams in the world and some of the greatest players in the world today ready to go at it. Anthems, lineup, and kickoff when we come back to Cleveland. Welcome back, everyone, to Cleveland, Ohio. They're talking about some bad weather, some thunderstorms. Haven't seen any sign of them at the moment. The sun is shining, a beautiful day here in Cleveland, the home of the NFL's Cleveland Browns. The two teams side by side. The United States and Germany, longtime rivals. The USA is the only team that has a winning record against Germany. You played in many of those games.
And that's amazing. Only team in the entire world with a winning record against them.
Getting ready now with the teams side by side for the national anthems of the two countries. USA and Germany have so much respect for one another. Abby Wambach was talking about that yesterday, the way the Germans play hard and honest at all times. And she, among others, has looked forward to playing in this particular game against Germany, just a little bit better than a year away from the Women's World Cup, which will be hosted by the Germans. And Birgit Prinz is looking to play in that one, what would be her 5th World Cup. The U.S. national team off to a great start in 2010. 6 games played, all victories, including one against this German team. It was in the final of the Algarve Cup. They've scored 13 goals, only allowed 3, and a couple of those goals came in that game against Germany. The USA will have a pretty familiar starting lineup, with Hope Solo once again getting the call in goal. Let's take a look at that USA lineup.
Well, they're going with their 4-4-2, which has been something that Pia has been preferring, and staying with the 2 center backs, Rachel Buehler and Amy LePeilbet, having great years so far for the U.S. team, and then giving Kristine Lilly, at 344 caps, 38 years old, another chance on that left side. She's looking for some flank players, and then of course Wambach and Amy Rodriguez up top.
A lot of familiar names on the German side. We saw many of them, a dozen at the last World Cup.
And you're going to see Prinz, who will shoot out of that deeper center forward spot and get forward a lot off of Inka Grings up top as well. But look to the flanks, Behringer and Garefrekes, who will work that flank and go up and down. It's one of the strengths of the German team.
Grings is the player that I want to watch today, number 8. We haven't seen her in previous Olympics or World Cups, but what a great striker she was, and she's going to help Birgit Prinz find some room. Prinz will help her find some space against the United States. USA will be in white with the dark shorts. Germany in red with the white shorts. Today's referee is Margit Domke. She is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 6 subs allowed in this one. It's an international friendly. A little bit better than a year away from the Women's World Cup. That will start in late June of next year. Waiting for the referee's whistle to get this one started. And here we go from Cleveland, as it's played back. Left side of the field. Stephanie Cox wears 14 for the U.S. Head for Wambach. Cut off there. Krahn with that pass. Bresonik's pass intercepted. Cox. See if the Germans use some high pressure at the start of this game.
Yeah, they in the last 2 games against the United States, one in October and one at the Algarve Cup in March, they pretty much set their line a little bit above the center circle. So not pressing too high.
Coming back, it's played all the way back to goal. Hope Solo bobbled it there, but a good recovery. Finding Stephanie Cox, who plays for the Boston Breakers of the WPS. They are taking the weekend off because of this international match. So many of the players belonging to WPS teams that are here, 16 of the 18 on this roster. One player plays in Germany, that's Ali Krieger. The other is a collegiate player, Alex Morgan. Tap to the right side. Garefrekes with that pass, it's blocked. Here's Boxx, switching the point of attack, right side to the speedy Rodriguez. Amy Rodriguez gains the end line, cutting it back, and it's denied by Germany. Up top, Birgit Prinz. She is up there with number 8, Inka Grings. Look at Prinz getting free into the box. And it's knocked away by LePeilbet.
And that's something a lot of people don't know about Birgit Prinz. When they see her size, because she's a very tall player, they underestimate her pace. And there was a good example of it right there. But a good start overall for the United States, and a great ball in by Shannon Boxx to get Amy Rodriguez in behind the German defense early.
It's going to be ruled a goal kick. Birgit Prinz, the German captain, has played in 4 World Cups and 4 Olympics, and Pia Sundhage knows all about Birgit Prinz and knows that that's going to be a key. If you stop Birgit Prinz, you certainly have a better chance to win this game. Annika Krahn up the middle, and the foul was called on the U.S. Fouls on Rodriguez. Quickly played by the Germans to the right side. Garefrekes, we all remember her from 2003, the foul on Cox.
We do remember.
I know you try not to, but what a great player she was in that World Cup.
Garefrekes. Yes, she was. and still is. I mean, you'll see her working that flank, and that's what the Germans are known for. Their other flank midfielder, Behringer, is actually not here. Lira Behringer plays for Potsdam, and they just played in the Champions League final a few days ago and won it for the women's side. So they're missing 5 players. She being one of the key ones they're missing, and she loves to just work that flank. It's one of the German strengths.
There's a bad ball played back. The U.S. is fortunate to recover it as Buehler played it back. Now LePeilbet swings it over. Both teams have players out due to injury or other duties, like you mentioned with the Germans. Carly Lloyd out with an injury for the U.S. among others. But both teams blessed with depth. So it's a good test for some players who don't normally get a lot of playing time to get some of that playing time today. That's Sylvia Nye, the head coach of Germany. Outstanding record. Won the last World Cup. Former assistant coach of this team. Someone you played against, too.
Former midfielder for Germany. Great player.
Bresonik on the right side of the field. Number 10 for Germany. That's Boxx working hard against Bresonik, and she drew the contact. Shannon Boxx, right now the captain of the U.S. squad.
And you mentioned Carly Lloyd being out with an ankle. The tandem of Shannon Boxx in the center of midfield, there's a good look at her physical presence on the field. And Carly Lloyd has been a very good one for the United States. So in place for Carly Lloyd today is Lindsey playing in the middle. And another good chance for Pia, as you mentioned, JP, earlier, to look at other players.
Hard pressure there from the Germans. They take it away. Looking to exploit the USA on defense. Grings, who has great instincts for goal. It's going out, and it's going to be a goal kick for Hope Solo. But that's the player that led the Bundesliga in goals with 28 this year. Also the top scorer at the Algarve Cup with 7, yet she's not played on that last Olympic team nor the last World Cup team. So something has kept her off the team, including injury.
And you're seeing the 2 good looks the Germans have had just early on. Both of them are going at the U.S. center backs, and they've had some success when they go at them at speed on the dribble. So I think we'll see a lot of that today from the German team.
She got called that time for the foul. The U.S. will get it on the right side of the field. It's considered a friendly, but the pace of this, the tone of it, everything about it is going to be different than some of the games USA has played recently, including the games against Mexico, the last one we saw in the snow in Utah. And, you know, no disrespect to other teams, but when you're playing, when it's the top 2 like this, it's always going to be a better and a harder game.
Oh, no question. I mean, and it's why Kristine Lilly's back out there. You know, her first look was against Mexico, but as you said, it was in the snow. And so he, I'm sure, wants to get a look at her against a team like Germany.
Just give and go there. Bresonik, look how quickly they move the ball. Grings tapped away. The U.S. quick to get it. Kristine Lilly, that's blocked. Try to follow it up instead. Hingst will take over for the Germans up the middle. Prinz leads it for Garefrekes on the same page. And that ball just got away. It's another goal kick, but you see how dangerous the Germans are in the opening minutes of this one in Cleveland.
And they love to fly those outside midfielders forward, which is actually an area the U.S. has talked a lot about needing to improve. And so the German side, their strength is their flank play. And for the U.S., their weakness, if you can call it that, having only lost 1 game in the last 50, is their flank play. So it'll be interesting how they match up out wide.
Heather Mitz. That's picked off. Laudehr comes back. Leads it. Picked off again. LePeilbet's pass. Lindsey knocked it back. Shannon Boxx holds it there. Right side for Mitz. Both USA outside backs do like to push forward, but they'll have to be careful against the German team that's so good on the counterattack. LePeilbet and the WPS Boston Breakers. It's headed out of play. Last touch by Sonia Fuss. Quick throw in for the U.S. Good idea. Inside, Amy Rodriguez lays it off. Boxx. Lindsey thought about it, played it, the flick on, a chance! And Unger comes out and makes a big-time play. Heather O'Reilly came in after that loose ball. Riley hasn't scored in her last 14 games. She almost broke that drought right there. That matches her longest scoring drought going back to 2008. Laudehr under pressure from Boxx. That was an aimless ball.
That has to be an encouraging sign, though, for Pia Sundhage on the bench as the U.S. coach, because it's one of the focuses she said coming into this game. We want to be better in the final third. We want to hold the ball better and possess the ball better and be more unpredictable. And so there you saw it right there was a good example of that.
Rodriguez trying to use her speed. That's cut off. Garefrekes blocked by Cox. Lindsey, good idea with the early ball, but that needed to be better to Wambach, who was open. It allows Germany to counter with Prinz in the middle. Good, strong, hard run straight ahead for Grings. Intercepted. Here's Boxx. U.S. looking to move it as well quickly. Knocked out of play. Some good speed on that right side of the field for the U.S. with O'Reilly and Mitz playing there.
And Prinz in that last sequence, if she had looked a little bit wide to her right, she had Garefrekes streaking down the right side wide open, and that's where they're so dangerous, as we mentioned before, because they don't like to play a lot of defense, so they're going to cheat wide a lot.
Stephanie Cox with Garefrekes right on her. Lindsey for Boxx. Those two working together today in the center of the midfield. Slow pass there was picked off by Bresonik. Look at that pass right to an open Prinz, left-footed shot. But it's true, right to Hope Solo. Used Birgit Prinz a bit as a central midfielder in the Algarve Cup. They had some injuries, and they also want to see players in different positions, but they said she struggled in the transition, as you might expect, going from offense to defense.
It was Sylvia Knights' way of saying she didn't give us a lot of defensive presence.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected.
Yeah.
You just can't place forwards in the middle of midfield. I mean, there's tremendous defensive responsibilities.
Speaking of like a former great midfielder.
We used to always joke about to the forwards that we had to do all their defensive work, which of course we do.
Of course. Room on the right side. Grings. Oh, nice effort there. Tackled away by Buehler. He plays for FC Gold Pride. First place foul in the WPS. Throw in here for the Germans. Edge of the box. It's coming back out. Bresonik. She'll get it back. Garefrekes on the turn. Lost it there. Good pressure from Boxx coming in. Foul was called on Garefrekes.
This will be fun to watch throughout the course of this game. The matchups between the outside midfielders for Germany and the outside backs for the United States, because that's another area that Coach Sundhage has identified as something she wants to make stronger. And so how Stephanie Cox at left back and how Heather Mitz at right back deal with those flank players.
You could hear the communication right side from field level. 12th minute scoreless. USA versus Germany. Top two teams in the world. Some of the greatest players in the world on stage today on a nice sunny day here in Cleveland. Buehler has it. In case you're wondering who's number 3, by the way, that would be Brazil, led by the great Marta. It's going to go out of play for a throw-in for the United States. Stephanie Cox will take it. The youngest USA player at the last World Cup and the only collegian on the team at that time. Headed away by Bresonik. Rodriguez, Lindsey for Lilly. Those passes a bit behind, and it allows Germany to take over with Garefrekes. Switch to the left side by Bartusiak. Foos over the top, and the flag goes up. They were trying to isolate Inka Grings. And the U.S. has to be wary of that long ball.
And good energy from Germany, especially given they've just come off their full long season, the Women's Bundesliga, And many said at training yesterday, it's been long. We haven't had a summer off in 3 years between the World Cup and the Olympics and the European Championships. And they're all going on vacation right after this. So good energy to start in the first 15 minutes for them.
O'Reilly's pass was blocked. It comes back to LePeilbet. Mitz holds. Rodriguez laid it off right back to Heather Mitz. Plays for Philadelphia in the WPS. That's picked off. Who's in Germany? Take off left side. There's not much room there. That was denied. Boy, Lindsey all the way over there to cover that ground. Looks long for Wambach. Instead, pass from Bresonik. Boxx picked it off. Lilly. U.S. hasn't figured out a way yet, although it's early to get Lilly and Wambach into this game. Certainly, they're not into it as much as Prinz and Grings on the other side. In terms of touches and possession, here's Garefrekes. Again, they find Prinz. She'll slide it inside, and that just missed. The danger of the German attack evident again. That's Laudehr who broke through.
And the danger of an attacking midfielder coming through. It's such a hard run to track. And here's a good look of Prinz facing up and actually Megs, it looks like, Amy LePeilbet to get that ball through. So a little bit unlucky for LePeilbet, but a very good run by Laudehr.
Besides the run, are they giving a little too much room to Prinz? She had a lot of time there.
Well, you saw about 2 minutes earlier, they gave Prinz a little room, and she's shooting from 20, 25 yards out, and that's a save Hope can easily make. So, yeah, I don't mind that, but yes, they're going to have to step a little bit more and put some more pressure on them.
Boxx on the left, waits for the run. That was Cox that overlap. Boxx, nice idea, but that pass was denied by Germany and cleared out of play. It'll be a USA throw-in. In for Boxx, intercepted there. And that one's Grings. Didn't hit that the way she wanted to. It'll be collected by Buehler. Three-year captain. She played at Stanford. Blocked off the pass from Lindsey. What are you seeing here after 15 minutes of play?
Well, I think Germany is getting through, which is encouraging. You don't see many teams against the United States do that. And I think looking at some of the tapes of past games, there's some gaps in that back line, especially in that center back area, if you can go at them. And so you saw Prinz face up just now and thread a ball through. You saw her get Ika Grings through. So some success on the German side. They just haven't been able to finish their chances.
Again, it's Germany on the ball, playing it right side. Long ball from Bresonik. Grings let that one go. And should go into an advanced position. Down that left flank it goes. Behringer was after it. It's going to the U.S. And the Mitz, an Ohio native, not Cleveland, but Cincinnati, down the road a bit. Looking to play in her first World Cup. An injury cost her a chance of making it in 2007. She was one of the broadcasters along with you for that Women's World Cup.
I think she'd rather been on the field.
Absolutely.
That was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, in 2011 she'll have that opportunity, you would think. The throw in Boxx. Play it back to Mitz. Should be no problem for Germany. Tap back to USAvGER. The 2010 FIFA World Cup returns to ESPN June 11th. It's live from South Africa. 32 teams with one dream to raise the world's biggest trophy. The FIFA World Cup on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, and ESPN3.com. Quick throw-in on the near side. USA, everyone knows the group they're in by now, right? All you have to know, it's USA and England in game one. Algeria and Slovenia are also in that Group C.
I can remember the days when we were saying 500 days until the World Cup.
I know. Soon we'll be saying hours. Prinz. Look at this. If the flag stayed down, but it did not. Offside is Grings. But you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to exploit that middle. Second time they've been offside there.
It's close. It's going to be a close one in here. Yeah, she's clearly offsides. not so close.
Back to live action on a bouncing ball. Collected by Germany and sent the other way. Won the last 2 World Cups. In the Olympics, they haven't had as much success. Just those bronze medals. They had a 1-0 lead though against Brazil in 2008. It looked like they maybe were going to get into the final, but instead Brazil scored 4 times to knock them out. Nice cutback by Cox. Lead pass left side. Lilly slows it down. Wambach is in. Well, that's as dangerous as the USA has looked in this first half, and no surprise, it's Lilly and Wambach.
Just what I was thinking, JP. Great read by Kristine and a nice run and timing by Abby to get in there.
Leads to their first corner kick. And Wambach is obviously one of the targets here. Drilled into the middle. And that one's cleared away. Wambach was up high for it. It'll go out of play. Playing with a broken nose, by the way. It happened in a game against the Boston Breakers a couple of weeks ago. She had a nose guard shaped to fit her. Tried it a couple days in practice and got hit again and said, it's not for me. So she's playing without it, but she thinks it's made her, in a strange way, a more courageous player. She said she's not worried about it. She said she's not going to let it deter her at all.
No, and that is Abby right there. That's the best way to describe her. Why would I need something to protect it if it gets in the way? Such a warrior on the field.
Boxx's header is stopped by Unger here in the 20th minute. Unger decides to go along with this, and it pays off. Prinz. Behringer, her first run down the right side. She's been on that left. Slows it down. Now trying to cross it into the middle. Dead in there. The U.S. should have no trouble clearing this. That's O'Reilly. Got it upfield. Wambach laid it off. The pass was behind Rodriguez, who was headed for an open space.
Behringer didn't have a good ball in for Germany on that one, but you could see just how quickly they can counter.
Flag is up again. That's Grings. 3 times she has been offside.
And she's clearly trying to get into that gap behind the U.S. back line. They're playing a very tight line, both teams, keeping the field compact. And sometimes that plays off and sometimes it doesn't.
Sylvia Nide. She said yesterday she didn't feel the pressure, but I would think there'll be some pressure next year on Germany. 2-time defending World Cup champions and playing at home. With all the German expectations, wouldn't you think?
Yes, but she said we're used to it, actually. They expect us to win every time.
You guys did when you played, right? When you played wherever it was, World Cup, Olympics, did you always expect to win?
Yes, yes.
Headed down by Krahn. Bartusiak leaves it for Unger, who really made a name for herself in that last World Cup with all those shutouts. Set a shutout record, 540 consecutive shutout minutes, breaking Walter Zenga's record of 517 that he set at the 1990 World Cup in Italy. Wambach, Boxx. Lindsey towards Cox. Well, if the passes are a tad off, they're being picked off here today.
And when you get these wide angles like this, it's so good to see, because you'll see those red jerseys, they're all pressing high. So you've got essentially almost a forefront for Germany going up against the 4 back line of the U.S. So talk about, you know, some pressure on your back line.
There is respect among these 2 teams, but certainly not fear. Mitz. Slowing it down, right side, O'Reilly for Shannon Boxx. Quick idea. Unger races after it. Good footwork. No panic in her game there.
No, that's the one thing you can say about Unger. She's going to always stay calm. Reads the game very well and just has, you know, a great demeanor for a goalkeeper. You want a goalkeeper that's calm.
Boxx. She had Rodriguez there in the neighborhood, but it's wide. And Nadine Unger will put it back into play. Remember the penalty kick save against Marta? It was 1-0 at the time in that final, but she came through, really turned the game around. That could have tied it up for Brazil, and then who knows what could have happened. And the only goals she gave up in the Olympics were against Brazil. Shutouts in all the other games. Behringer. And Grings lost it. Kristine Lilly. Wambach. Laid off there for Lindsey. Right side. Here's Mitz. Boxx. Some good movement here by the U.S. The flick on to Lindsey is cut off. After about a half a dozen good passes, stringing things together, getting upfield, the U.S. will have a throw-in.
Very good. And Mitz getting a little bit more involved offensively.
Lindsey had it blocked. A nice, sweet move that time as it's cleared away by Hingst.
That's going to be the hard balance for the outside backs because they have a German outside midfielder on them all the time. How do you get forward?
Garefrekes playing more towards the middle now. Pass that up. Grings with a low shot. Hopes solos there. No rebound.
You got to love, though, the Germans that come at you with such numbers. You have to respect that their courage to just send people.
You mentioned they're going on vacation. This is the final game for them. They're leaving nothing behind. Here's Rodriguez leaving it. A great test for these two teams as Lilly sends a nice ball in. O'Reilly in the box, looks back post, too far away for Abby Wambach.
Another very good sequence by the United States. Good patience by Abby, and then great vision by Lil. She sees Kristine Lilly on the other side. She sees Heather O'Reilly dropping in there. And I think this is a good idea, actually, because there she is on that back post. She just didn't deliver it technically.
Sent in long. U.S. backboard, LePeilbet. Look at the pressure from Grings. LePeilbet did well, actually, to get rid of that ball. Can't lose it there in the box. It'll be one-on-one against your goalkeeper. Well, that was high pressure from Grings, just trying to win a ball.
Grings has got an engine. Besides having an instinct in front of goal, she's got an engine, and those two combined can create problems for 90 minutes when they don't stop.
Halfway line, U.S. gets it. Lilly. Boxx denied there. Hingst went over off the challenge from Buehler. Towards the left side it goes. The nice cut inside. Here's Germany threatening with that shot. Save by Solo. Off Garefrekes. Well, Garefrekes and Behringer have really switched sides here, with Garefrekes going more towards the middle of the attack. An in-game adjustment, if you will, for the Germans.
And they like to do that a lot with their flank players, their outside middies. They'll often start on the left, and then halfway through the half, you'll see them on the right, which I think is a healthy thing. And what you're also seeing is they're just going at players, and that is something that causes any back line, even, you know, some of the best in the world like the U.S. problems when you're displacing them like that.
Over the top to Rodriguez, headed away. Boxx kept it going, forcing an awkward clearance from Krahn.
It's why Pia wants to get stronger at the outside midfield position. She wants players that will do that, that will attack and go at a back line in a traditional winger type of fashion.
Cox, end line cross. Lilly, nice turn there. Here's Kristine Lilly off the post. Was that handled? The whistle blew, or the flag was up. Offside flag. What a move she made on the end line. She's 38 years old. If she makes the World Cup team, she'd be playing at age 39 in the World Cup, and that's unusual because it would be a field player. Goalkeepers can play at that age, but you don't see that in the men's game either in terms of field players.
And the other thing is a field player playing outside midfield, when you're asked to run 120 yards, it's not like you're a center back or a forward. You know, you are asked to cover the length of the field over and over. It's brutal. That's the worst position on the field.
And she's not one to pace herself. She's going all out. I mean, she's taking care of herself, but she's not going to slack out there at all.
I said, excuse me, have you reminded your coaches that you're 38? That's for a 28-year-old? She goes, I know. I tell them I want to play Central A, but we don't need players centrally on the U.S. team.
Inside it goes. Oh, the Germans thought they had someone closer. That was Prinz, who was in an animated conversation.
Well, the U.S.'s top 3 chances have been largely started by number 13, Kristine Lilly. And there's a good look. She beats her player on the inline and tries to find a seam. Unlucky to not get that on target.
28th minute. USA on the attack. Scoreless against Germany. Lindsey. To the outside. It's a long run for Stephanie Cox, but she gets there. Knocked back to Stephanie Cox. She tries to go the other way. That was a difficult ball. Boxx did well to keep it going and gain an advantage call for the U.S. In a Wambach, the turn. She goes down. It's a penalty. And full credit to Shannon Boxx, because without her play, that ball never gets upfield.
JP, you just read my mind, and that's what Shannon Boxx does so well for the United States, is she keeps things alive by just battling in there. So she wins a 50-50 ball, keeps it into the U.S. possession, and a penalty kick ensues. Her just battling for this ball. We used to talk all the time on the U.S. team about the little things. There it is right there.
Abby Wambach can move up to 3rd among USA goal scorers if she connects here on the penalty. Wambach is good, and the U.S. leads.
Here's another look at the foul. I think that is a questionable penalty kick. I think the U.S. is very fortunate there to actually get that one.
106th career goal, 4th all-time now, breaking the tie that she had with Michelle Akers and Carolina Morace. Akers since retired, and Morace as well, although she's coaching Canada's women's team. Now let's see what that goal does, that penalty, to this game for both teams. It was an open game, both teams on the attack.
Well, it was interesting yesterday talking with Coach Nayed of Germany, and we said, you know, what are you most impressed about with the U.S. team? And she said, first and foremost, their mentality. If you go down a goal against them, it's so hard to win a game. And we have to work on our body language and our mentality if we go down again. Well, here's their perfect test.
There's why. There's why. Since March of '02, going up a goal. They're strong when they go up. They're strong when they have the lead at halftime as well. And that's going back to when you played. A lot of those numbers. Call it a mentality, if you will. Sometimes you guys didn't think you'd get scored upon.
No, and I think that has been one of the greatest strengths of this U.S. team over the years, no question, is that, and it's not a coincidence, it just doesn't happen. I mean, it's something you talk about all the time, but that is the foundation of this team, is mentality. And we're always going to bring that blue collar, you know, get your fingernails dirty, roll up your sleeves, let's go, regardless of how a game turns out.
Boxx for that pass ahead. Foul is called again on Germany. As they slowed down Kristine Lilly. She's played in 5 World Cups. Could she play in a 6th? Well, you wouldn't have fancied her chances a couple of months ago, but then she's recalled for that game against Mexico, and now people are talking like it could certainly happen, especially with Pia Sundhage talking about getting better flank play. Who has better flank play than Kristine Lilly?
She missed the 2008 Olympics being pregnant with her daughter Sydney, and then has made a great comeback and said, I was even surprised when I got called in.
Chance for Boxx. Nice save on goal. Otherwise, it's 2-0 U.S. That's a big-time save. Second corner for the U.S.
And here's a good look at Shannon being able to hit with both feet from outside. Great save by USAvGER.
And the USA's second corner. This from the opposite side, from where the first one was. Here's a Wambach. A diving serve again by USAvGER. Wambach knew she hit that one well, just beaten on the day by that goalkeeper.
Well, Wambach's so good in the air. And you're going to see the Germans, they line up with just one post player. So this back post for the U.S. wide open. You may see Abby trying to sneak in and get something on that back post.
Boxx and Buehler also up into the box area. That's Buehler, is toward her, settled there. Lilly off the right foot, it's too high. But thanks to Nadine USAvGER, right now it's only a one-goal game. 31-year-old goalkeeper played it to the right side. Bresonik. Garefrekes is now back on the right side. That pass was intended for her, but knocked out by Lilly. Krahn across the way. Bartusiak. Sonia Fuss. Be a throw-in for Germany. In the 34th minute, Germany trailing by a goal here. Looking for an equalizer. Laudehr's pass. Buehler did well to read it and move it to the right for Mitz. Lindsey runs onto it, tapped it ahead. Shannon Boxx looks for some options. She'll keep it herself. Pegs it wide right. Wambach. O'Reilly tracks it down. Looking, keeping it on the ground of Boxx. Lindsey thought she was going to have a go from outside. Instead, it's Lilly wide left. Tackled out by Garefrekes. Third corner kick for the United States. Fourth corner.
Good little counter by the U.S. as well. Getting some numbers forward. Again, Germany lining up just on the near post. You have Abby, Boxy, and Rachel Buehler as your targets for the United States. All good in the air.
The header, save again, rebound is loose. U.S. scores on the tap in. The drought is over for Heather O'Reilly. But it all started with that corner.
And that is why I always personally prefer two post players, one on the near post, one on the back post, because in this situation, they can step inside and make that goal smaller. I mean, wide open on that back post. And with no post player, there's no one to help that goalkeeper. USAvGER really should probably hold on to that to begin with, and she doesn't create the mess in front of her. She holds on to that.
I wonder if she was screened a little bit. Amy Rodriguez was right in front of her, but it's still a big rebound, and O'Reilly capitalizes so that 14-game goalless streak is over. But more importantly, for Heather O'Reilly in the U.S., they've got a 2-goal lead now here in the first half in what was an even game. The scoreboard won't show that right now, but Germany had the better chances before those goals came.
And that's the beauty of soccer, which is why we love it. You know, regardless of how many looks the other teams get, and whoever's best finishing their chances. And clearly, I think Germany probably has had a little bit more than the U.S., even though the U.S. have had some good looks.
Riley playing for Sky Blue, champions last year in the WPS. Prinz pushed it back. Fuss. Lindsey for the U.S. in white. O'Reilly, Lindsey, far side. Played it back to Mitz to keep possession. LePeilbet back to the feet of Solo. USA's #1 goalkeeper since back in 2005. Cox. Rodriguez thought Wambach was closer, let that one go. Prinz also thought Garefrekes was closer.
Now, if you're a coach, JP, you're 37 minutes in, and if you're the German coach, this is actually, I think, a great situation to be in, because how do you respond, right? How's this team going to respond? And especially they're missing, you know, 3 to 5 possible players who could make that World Cup team on the Potsdam team who didn't come. So how do these young players in particular respond? given they haven't had much success against the U.S. as well.
O'Reilly in the box. Across, Wambach went down, and this time she won't get the call. That was more interesting than the other one.
I was going to say, maybe that was a little bit of a makeup.
Yeah, that could be.
One probably.
Very well could be.
Could have been much worse than the other.
That could have been why Abby was laughing, thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't have gotten the first one, but that one I should have, so okay. You saw the speed of O'Reilly and how quickly things can happen. Coaches here are looking for a result, but it's more than that too. They want to look at players. They want to look at systems. They want to look at what you said. How do you respond? You're going to face adversity in a World Cup if you're going to go to the final. And that's what Germany needs to see here. They're trailing against the U.S. 2-0. And against some teams, you'd think the game might be over here if you're the U.S., but they won't think that here.
I mean, soccer is full of tales of doing poorly in their first game of a World Cup and then coming back. I mean, look at the U.S. men's team at the Confederations Cup.
Yeah. And the U.S. women's team in the last Olympics, the only loss under Pia Sundhage.
First game to Norway. End up winning the gold. And as a player, I mean, that used to be something, the first thing you would look for. You know, on the practice field in a game, how is this player dealing with that? Do they get down? Is their head down? Is their body language bad? I don't want that player next to me. You know, and you used to tell them that. Come on, let's go.
Understood. Tuesday night on ESPN, the U.S. plays one of their final tune-up matches on U.S. soil. It's before the FIFA World Cup in South Africa. See how Landon Donovan and the boys look against a tough Czech Republic team. USA Soccer on ESPN Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, and then probably some cuts will be made by U.S. head coach Bob Bradley, who brought 30 players in. The squad has to be cut down to 23. Some other nations have made some surprising announcements with players cut. But you don't have to have your roster in just yet.
Two that we just watched.
Yeah.
Zanetti.
Good one. Cambiasso.
Cambiasso.
And others. How about Inter Milan today? We had a chance to watch part of that game. Jose Mourinho wins again.
Yeah.
Over
How about
Bayern
the special
Munich.
one? But let's talk Diego Milito. All this talk about Mourinho.
He was outstanding today.
Yeah.
With both goals in the 2-0 victory, the first European championship in 45 years for Inter Milan. Here's a look at that last foul. That's Birgit Prinz. And when Abby Wambach told me yesterday, the thing that she admires the most about the Germans, they play hard, they play strong, they play physical. And she says when they get fouled, they don't lie down, they get right back up. So you can tell she's hurting if she's not up quickly.
Yeah, and Coach Nye even said that yesterday. It's one of the things we talk about is your body language, and part of that is getting up. She didn't want players laying on the field. So yeah, she got a little knock there.
And one of the things about Prinz too that Sylvia and I told us yesterday, she doesn't want Germany to rely on the one player, because if you shut down Prinz, that's not going to be good for your team unless you have other options. So Grings is an option, and there are others as well, including some that are not here with this team, but they want to be a little bit more versatile, a little deeper. Right,
and it's why, you know, they've been so happy. Inka Grings has come on, as you said, and has been scoring goals like crazy in the Bundesliga, like Bayramai has been doing well at the flank.
It was a nicely disguised set piece, but it didn't work. Behringer holds it. Now for Garefrekes. It was a good idea on the cutting ball, but Hingst made the run away from it. Birgit Prinz now, with the referee's permission, is trying to get back onto the field.
I mean, the other thing about relying too much on Birgit Prinz is, you know, she's 32, turning 33 at the end of the year. Garefrekes is 30.
Oh, she got called for that foul. She's upset. She's going to get booked, isn't she? That's open descent. She's getting a break. Nope, she's not. She kicked the ball away clearly. Had some words with the referee. It's a yellow in the men's game. It's a yellow in the women's game.
She clearly does not think that was a foul.
Clearly.
50-50 contact. Here's another look at a different angle, and I think that's a good call by the referee.
U.S. looking for this loose ball. That's Lindsey. USA up by 2.
It is an American football stadium, though, so she's thinking, if I just run through like a linebacker.
Cleveland Browns Stadium. I just don't know which end zone is the dog pound. That used to be with the old Cleveland Browns, remember?
Right.
Passionate fans here in Cleveland. NFL fans for sure.
Poor Cleveland.
I know. Home of LeBron James, at least for now. But every day there are rumors. But that's the big story really in Cleveland these days. Cleveland sports. Will LeBron stay? Or will he go as a free agent?
I heard he's going to the Lakers, JP.
Not a chance. That's not a rumor we heard until just now. Coming at the half.
Starting it.
More in the Champions League final. MLS action. Toronto versus New England and some other stories. It's getting physical, more physical out there. And another card. This time on Wambach. Against Laudehr. So you've got the two great strikers, each with cards, each for a different reason. But nonetheless, two players who battle. 44th minute. And Germany get one before the half. Comes to a close. Solo came out and grabbed it. In traffic. And look at this boot. Now she took a gamble there. Germany will get it back. Maybe with a 2-0 lead, she figured why not. It surprised them at the end.
Clean hands by Solo there, though. To come out that far, you got to hold on to it.
Lindsey wanted to switch it. Germany right back on it, and right back on the attack. The Behringer pass. Laid up by Grings. Hingst checking back for it. Bartusiak. Bresonik. Final minute here. We'll see about stoppage time as Bresonik goes forward. Looks for Prinz wide against Buehler. Prinz will come away with a loose ball. 14 goals in World Cup play for Prinz, the all-time leader in that category. Held on by Krahn. Past Wambach. Annika Krahn couldn't get that through. She'll try again. Good read there by Garefrekes. Nice job by Cox. It'll be a corner kick, but it beat the alternative.
Very good defending by Stephanie Cox. Garefrekes has some size. And even though she's Peter Crouch's long-lost sister, she can get in there and be physical.
First corner for Germany. Behringer will take it. Chance to get on the board before the first half comes to an end. Laudehr, and that's wide. She had a pretty open look going away from goal. We're in stoppage time at the moment. With the USA up by a couple of goals. Wambach and O'Reilly are the goal scorers. They'll play 1 minute in stoppage time. Hope Solo, 28-year-old goalkeeper, puts it right back into play. One in the air by Hingst. Stephanie Cox back to the feet of Hope Solo. She'll drive that off the left foot. Set right back. And then forward by the U.S. Both teams giving it away there at the end of the first half. Boxx to O'Reilly for Heather Mitz. Speed of O'Reilly, but Bartusiak had the better angle. Garefrekes. Tap back. U.S. gets it back. We're over a minute in stoppage time. Rodriguez looks to settle and shoot, could not. That's going to do it. Well, she almost snuck one in, or at least had a scoring chance before the half ended. But Germany, I thought, played pretty well in the first half, but the finishing was better in terms of the U.S. Wambach and O'Reilly get the goals. Here's a first half recap for you as the USA leads against Germany 2-0.
And here's a good look at the penalty kick that Abby Wambach gets. She gets tugged a little bit on the backside and finishes it nicely to go up 1-0. And then the second goal for the U.S. Abby putting it on frame and Heather O'Reilly there to finish it at the wide open back post.
USA leads by 2 over Germany. Your quick thoughts as we await an interview with Kristine Lilly.
I think it's a good performance by both teams, actually. And I think the U.S. has to be happy that they created some very good looks. And